looking forward to getting, obviously knee deep into ACC play. We all had the earlier game, but this kind of feels like now, conference play, and for us, going on the road and trying to win in conference is really, really challenging. It's been challenging every year that I've been here. So we have a big challenge, not just because we're on the road, because we're playing a good team on Thursday, and it's a necessary part of the schedule and the journey, and we'll try and see if we can't win one on the road.
Thanks, Coach. Royal, we'll go ahead and get started with you.
Yes. Hey, Coach, how you doing? I hope you have a happy New Year. I
Thank
guess my
you.
question for you today is, what is your main takeaway from the team? In their route to bounce back from a tough road loss to going into another hostile environment, kind of trying to change the landscape going forward for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean we've got to learn to be a better team on the road, and certainly when you look all across sports, whatever sport it is, whatever level, teams have a better winning percentage at home than they do on the road. So that's a natural part of it. That's why we scheduled so many road games in the non-conference so that we could test ourselves. Our three losses are all on the road, and it's something that we have to improve on and try and execute better, play better. Just continue to grow in that area. And that's going to be a challenge, I think, for us all year, because there's a lot of good teams in our league, and we play a lot of them on the road, and it's just the way it is. So I'm actually um, happy that we're starting off with a road game, because it keeps kind of what we've been talking about top of mind of what we need to grow and improve on.
Thank you, Coach.
Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Carol, I want to go back to the South Florida game. Have you, I'm sure you and your coaches have looked at that film over and over again. Do you have a feel for what exactly went wrong at the beginning of the game and how you can make sure it doesn't happen again?
I just thought they came out with more urgency than us. They were more physical, more more desperate, and I'm using desperate as a positive adjective, in that way. And we just kind of were reacting instead of being proactive, and that can't happen. Certainly, not to start the game. Our energy level, our urgency level needs to be a lot better. So that was the main thing as far as the start.
Yeah, okay. A quick follow-up. I believe it'll be 12 days between games once you tip off at Chestnut Hill. So there might be some rust. They've already had a post-Christmas game to kind of shake that rust off. Is that a concern? And how do you make sure that your team, is ready to play at the tip-off?
I mean, they better be ready. I mean, it's you're playing an ACC game, and everybody in the league is playing for an opportunity to put themselves in position to contend for the conference. If there's not urgency, then that's a deeper problem. So I expect us to have urgency. The layoff is something we can't control. When the buys get put in your schedule is not something you can control. Um, when your exam break is something you can't control. That's based off the university that you coach for and play for. So the big gaps in December was not anything that we talked about a ton, because it wasn't anything that we could change. Um, so hopefully we're ready to go, and playing with the best effort that we can.
Thanks.
Ron John, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. I want to start off and ask about Taina a little bit. I know this year her scoring is a little bit down, but her assist numbers are up, and she's been a big facilitator for you guys. Could you just assess her performance for this year, what you think, and then what you're looking to see from her moving forward as she's, starting point guard for you guys in ACC play?
Yeah, for our point guards, this is true for both Mayor and DeJesus. Um, we've talked a lot about valuing the basketball and having that positive assist to turnover ratio, which they both have done a great job of that. When you look at statistically what they're doing, they're so that was one category that we really wanted them to improve upon. And on top of that, we wanted them to improve on their shooting percentages, their efficiency, both from the two and from the three. And I haven't looked at it today. So, you'd have to see if the comparison, I think they're both up in their efficiency from last year as well, which is what we're looking for. And then we've challenged them both to become better defenders individually. We've challenged all our positions to do that. I don't want to just make you think because I said we challenged the point guards that everybody else was, good. But we have challenged our point guard specifically, point of attack defenders get better. And I think your question was about Mare. I think she has improved in all those areas, and so those are the things that we're looking for. And we have a lot of talented scorers on our team. The scoring thing, and people make too much about it in the sense of like T could score 20 if we played her 38 minutes and never took her out, and she just was jacking up a bunch of shots. I mean, she could do that, and there's a number of our players on our roster that could do that. We don't play that way, and I'm not saying that that's a bad way to play. I'm not trying to act like we play a holier than thou, way. I'm just saying that you know, stylistically how we play is we just try to find the best shot. And some games, that's going to find Mayer more. And some games it's going to find Jackson more or Richardson more or O'Connell more, and same thing with our forwards. I mean, we've had a number of forwards have big games this year, Donovan and Fournier and Thomas and Wood. That's just kind of how we play. And so the scoring being down doesn't like move me in a sense of like where I would say she's playing worse than a year ago offensively, because I just judge on the quality of the decisions that she's making each time, and then obviously the efficiency of the scoring, and then the taking care of the ball. That's what we've challenged them to do. And then, for me, the number one stat for point guards is wins. I mean, that's always been the number one stat. Like, do you lead your team to a win? Not do you have the most stats. It's like, do you win? And so that's what we talk about a lot with them is like, be point guards that lead your team to wins. That's the most important stat that you can have.
Thanks.
Brandon, over to you.
Hey, Coach. I just want a quick question. With the ACC stretch coming up, how did you get your team mentally and physically prepared for that stretch?
It helps we have some returners, so they've already been through it. When you talk about the challenges of it and navigating how long it is, and it can get long and it can get tiring. They have something to refer back to. That's helpful. And so most of our players have played in the ACC before. We just have, a couple freshmen. So I think it's more of reminding them of the type of extended effort that it takes over week after week after week. And then, physically, we try to put them in situations in practice that's going to prepare them for the games. And that's our approach doesn't really change as much. It's just preparing for the next team and trying to be focused on that. And I think the last couple of years, our teams have done a good job of doing that, of being prepared and focused for each individual game and understanding the value. What does that mean? They all count the same. They're all worth one. And so what happens in conference play is sometimes players, coaches will put more value on a single game than another, and they actually all count the same. And so you have to approach each one with the same level of respect and preparation, because to get a winning result, it's going to demand that you put in a lot of time and a lot of effort for that. So we're in our process of doing that now. Are putting our preparation in for our opponent and trying to give our best effort. We know it's going to take our best effort to win on Thursday. That's a given. And so how do we get ourselves to do that? Is preparing very well and then practicing at a good pace.
Thank you, Coach.
Michael, over to you.
Yeah, happy holidays, Coach. Just wondering, with your first game coming here on Boston on Thursday, does it mean anything extra or special to you coming back to Boston, having started your coaching career with the Celtics?
Well, I certainly enjoy coming to Boston. I come back to Boston a lot. There's not like, I haven't been in a while. I probably come 3 or 4 times a year to see old friends and usually watch the Celtics play and it is always exciting to come back to a place that you lived and you worked and you were a part of, even though it was just a year. I have very fond memories of Boston, and on top of that, we obviously have 2 players from Boston as well. So there's a great excitement for them and for their family and friends, and so it's nice. It's nice. Last time we took them to a Celtics game 2 years ago. We took them to the Celtics Sixers game the night before. This time the Celtics are on the road. They leave. I think they leave tomorrow for a really challenging road trip. I think it's one of their toughest of the season. So hopefully they'll do well. But we have a lot of Celtics fans on our team, and even though some that aren't from Boston, they follow, of course. I should correct. We have a lot of Jason Tatum fans on our team. Okay. And then he happens to play for the Celtics. And so that's probably more, more honest than, but we do have a lot of our players that root hard for the Celtics, and I'll look forward to seeing some friends up there.
Great. Thank you.
Jim, back to you.
Yeah, hey, kid, I want to try to ask you to tie together a number of threads. Here, you talked about practice, you talked about preparation, talked about exam breaks and holiday breaks and everything. I mean, tomorrow's a holiday, but you are back into a pattern now where you're playing a game in the middle of the week, you're playing a game on Sunday, middle of the week, Sunday. You can start scheduling your practices at the same time every week. You can get a rhythm, a routine going. Is that something that you look forward to? Is that something that's helpful in developing your team?
Yeah, I think having a rhythm to what you do, I think most of us do better with routine, and having your 2-day prep for each game is helpful. They have an understanding of knowing what to expect from a film standpoint, from a practice standpoint, and then how quickly they have to turn to the next. But we tried to do that in the non-conference. To be honest, we had a number of weeks where we were Thursday, Sunday in the non-conference, so that we are prepared for kind of that turnaround of playing 2 quality teams, back to back like that. I think it ended up being Wednesday, Saturday before Christmas, and it was Thursday, Sunday before exams. And you try to simulate that as best you can, so that they have an understanding of what to expect.
Yeah, thanks. Have fun in Chestnut Hill.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Coach Lawson? All right, if not, we're going to go ahead and get you out of here, Coach. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, everyone, and hope you all have a happy new year.
Thank you. Happy New
Thanks.
Year.
You guys.